close.
Right. But I'm saying some people can afford it. Okay, let's say you're putting 50% down and the appraisal comes in low. It's like, all right, it sucks, but I can still afford to do the deal. If you're FHA and it's like, hey, if it doesn't appraise, we're shit out of luck. There's nothing we can do about that. So, assuming that it's not a condition, like if you guys don't give us the instruction, we're done. We can't close. As much as we want to, we can't. If it's just the emotion of
Right.
dealing with that objection, what I would share probably is my true personal feeling is that, listen, I get that this appraiser didn't appraise the property, but if it was, but let's understand this. We've got a seller and a buyer and a listing agent and a buyer's agent, four of us, we all agree on a price. We all think the property is well worth it. And we've got one appraiser that probably doesn't really understand this market. That's kind of throwing a wrench in the works. This person holds a degree of power because, you know, they're a representative we have to pay attention to. But the truth of the matter is that, uh, you know, they're one person's opinion and they're kind of screwing up this deal. If it was me personally, let's buy the damn house because I know, you know, that this thing's going to be worth way more money in the future. And I'm not going to let one person's opinion screw up the deal. Now, maybe we take his opinion, we try and get a few more bucks off. There's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
But do I think it's worthwhile to say cancel the whole deal? Guess what? Then you're going to just let somebody else buy it, and they're going to pay the price, and they're going to be the one making hundreds of thousands of dollars over the next handful of years. So I would truly, and this is not coming from a place of, oh, let's just try and get the deal done. I really do share with a client like the importance of owning real estate. And, you know, this client, if it's not their first home they ever bought,
Yeah.
you know, how much, how many hundreds of millions, how many hundreds of thousands of dollars or millions of dollars they earned over the years owning real estate? Has it ever let them down? How about their friends and their family and their parents and their siblings? Has real estate ever let them down? This time is just like that time, right? It will not let you down. So, you know, I would come from that perspective, Phil, and to really empathize and just share with them, just truly from your heart.
I
This
have,
thing's going to make you a lot of money.
I have, and they came up halfway, right? Which is I'm already thankful because originally they said no, right? So I'm
Yeah,
halfway. We're there. Let's. I mean, I would, of course, I'll encourage them, but I would like listing agent to kind of understand that their situation is not so peachy either because unless they go back in the market, really the cash offer is the only offer they're going to be able to you know to
there you have it. And there's some beautiful leverage there. And you guys have done your part and you've come up. So it gives you a really strong negotiating position. So,
Yeah,
all
Phil,
right, cool, man.
Phil,
Go
I
ahead.
just make sure that the listing agent is aware that this appraisal now is the market.
yeah.
That if it's especially if it's a Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac loan, it's in the system. It's not.
Yep.
I mean, it's not going away no matter what they do. If they find another buyer, and another buyer, when the lenders review the next appraisal.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely. Yeah.
I'll half agree with Klapper. What I mean, you do want to really try and get your client to move as much as you can possibly get them to move. But I have a saying in my office when dealing with a negotiation, I tell my clients all the time that the definition of a successful negotiation is two dissatisfied parties. So what we really want to do is try and get the listing agent to give you some pain. You know what I mean? Maybe not halfway, but at least you can go back to your buyer and say, look, I got him to move off 10 grand, and so now, you're only in 15 grand, more than we thought, which I agree with Klapper. $15,000 over 10 years owning a property is going to seem like pennies.
That's a great point, Dave. That's a great point. Two dissatisfied parties. And you know what? For the listing agent to share with the seller why they need to come down, all he has to say to them, he or she has to say to them is, do you think these buyers are happy about coming up beyond an appraised value?
Right.
Like, So, all right, cool.
Thank you.
I have a suspicion that it will all work out, Phil.
It happens all the time on the lending side too, Phil. Believe me, I get it. I get
Yeah.
it all the time.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
the lender may be able, if you're, I'm sure your client's working with a lender, it's not out of bounds for the lender to call the seller's agent and say and explain how bleak the situation is for that seller at the number they're expecting at this point.
Yeah. That's a great call. Have them make that call for sure. All right, guys, let's get into customer service. That's what we're going to talk about today. And Phil is actually dealing with a customer service issue right here, right? He's serving his customer, and then how do you get them through this? Financially kind of not unscathed, but less scathed, knowing that the greater good, these guys are going to become very, very wealthy over the next coming years while owning this property. So customer service. Gosh, are we in a business where customer service is important? Like, oh my gosh, it's everything. Do customers, buyers and sellers, do they have options? Or are we the only agents in town for them? Are we the only option for them? Now more than ever, they have options. So customer service becomes vitally, vitally important. It's everything. It's so, so very important, customer service. So point number one on customer service, which is this: there's a direct correlation between the income we receive and the level of service that we offer. A direct correlation. So if you want to improve your income, improve your service. Phil successfully negotiates this transaction for his client and is able to get him 10 or 15, $1,000 off. And they close on this property and it turns out to be a wonderful thing for them. That's high levels of customer service. And there's a direct relationship between the income we receive and the level of service we offer. So you'll receive income from closing this deal, but that client, they're not upset at you for the appraisal coming in low. You did your job, and in fact, you're going to get them some money off the deal. They'll share that with their friends. They'll share that. Hey, my agent, he got us, this is the tightest real estate market we've ever seen, right? The least number of listings we've ever seen. So I would say potentially this buyer got lucky that the appraisal came in a little bit low. This is an opportunity to negotiate the price down a little bit. Why not? Why the hell not, right? I mean, how many appraisals do you guys like? Let's think about all the properties that we sell, and the appraisals come in exactly at value, 100% of almost 100% of the time, like 99% of the time. So that's another way to approach this buyer. Listen, this is a blessing. This is a blessing because it's giving us an opportunity, a legitimate opportunity to negotiate down. We all know the property's worth the price, and the appraiser is kind of screwing up the deal a little bit. But this is now we have actually a leg to stand on, try and get a few bucks off. This is so cool. I see that as a blessing. I see it as a kind of a cool opportunity. Next point, make great customer service your obsession. Your obsession, and repeat and referral business will follow. Great customer service being an obsession. That's kind of a unique thought. I'm obsessed with customer service. Have you guys ever had an experience where you were the customer and you received really excellent customer service, where that salesperson was absolutely obsessed with customer service? Go for it, Mark.
Yeah, recently at the 99-cent store in Gardena. It was
Not someplace you would expect to have great customer service, right?
I'll tell you, this guy just shined. He was amazing. He was just like, he was just, when a customer came up, standing in line, he engaged in authentic conversation with them. And it was just, the guy was just authentic, and they just got the sense that he would do anything that, you needed to get what you wanted. And he's the cashier, and it was 99-cent store. It was just amazing.
Yeah. And isn't it kind of sad and lame that we're not receiving that level of service in every store we go into? There should be pride and honor in serving when you run a business. But it's become a little bit hard to come by, which is why when you experience it, it's so much more special.
Yep.
And our business is no different than that business. Try calling 10 listing agents, call 10 signs, see how many of them actually pick up the phone. See how many of them actually call you back. And when they do call you back, was it 30 minutes later or 3 days later? See what customer service looks like out there in our industry. It's sad. It'll blow your mind how poor it is. Really, all that means to us is that if we just step up a little bit, it means a lot to the public. When agents visit 3, 4 open houses on a weekend, I did it actually this weekend. I was driving home and there was a couple of houses I wanted to see in my neighborhood just to stay in tune. So I went to 2 houses. I went to 3 actually. Two of the 3, the agents kind of welcomed me with open arms. And the third one, she also welcomed me. I knew all 3 agents, but she said, "Oh, did you see?" I said, "Oh, I just came from that other listing." She goes, "Yeah, I didn't like the finishes on that one at all." I was like, "Wow, someone's a little negative." Customer service is not something that really is done at a very high level anymore. So really step it up and people take notice of that. Next point. Great customer service requires regular communication. Whether it's a listing or a lead you're following up with or a buyer that's in escrow, calling them every 7 to 10 days is critical. Minimum. Every listing that you have and every buyer that you're working with, minimum once a week call. That's great customer service. What if I have nothing to update them with? That's okay. Still call them. Hey, Sean, I just wanted to touch base. I don't have any updates for you, but I just wanted to let you know that and see if you have any questions for me this week. No? Okay, great. Well, I'll talk to you next week then. Let me know if you need anything. Next point. Start the process of under promising and over delivering. It's much better than over promising and under delivering. Are we in a business where people over promise? Especially in our business. My goodness. There's so many agents out there, and a lot of them are so hungry for business. They overpromise all day long. How can you deliver when you overpromise? It's you're setting yourself up for absolute disaster. So either underpromise and overdeliver, or just promise. Make a commitment to what you'll actually do and stick to that promise. Right? If a buyer walks through your open house and you say, "Listen, I have access to all these off-market properties. I could probably show you 3 or 4 this week." They're like, "Great, let's do it." And it's like, "Oh, you actually said yes to that. Now what am I going to do?" Just make a promise you can commit to. Don't overpromise. But whether you make a promise or underpromise, always over deliver. That always works out well, and that's how you deliver really high customer service. Always work on over delivering. So great customer service, it really revolves around answering any concerns that they have and doing what you told them you're going to do and telling the truth. That's kind of what customer service is. Answering concerns, doing what you told them you were going to do, and telling them the truth. That's how simple customer service is. Answering concerns, doing what you told them you were going to do, what you committed to doing, telling the truth 100% of the time, no matter what. So how do you kind of on a daily business, on a daily, as part of your daily schedule, how do you actually deliver on customer service? Well, one thing you can do is block out, this is regarding your listings and your buyers and your sellers. How do I deliver customer service to my buyers and sellers? Well, you can start by blocking out a 2 hour period of time every week to talk with your sellers and buyers regarding their transaction. Thursdays from 10 to 12, I am going to, Tuesdays from 2 to 4, whatever. Just find a dead spot in your schedule and say every single week, I'm going to take this time and devote it to calling my customers. Then you never miss a week. You never forget about anybody. You know, let's say you have 2 listings and 3 buyers that you're working with currently. Whatever the numbers are, have that list. And if it's Tuesday between 2 and 4, that's when you call them. When you take that listing, you can even let them know, listen, on Tuesday afternoons, I will follow up with you. I'll tell you what's going on. That's the time during the week where I update all my buyers and all my sellers. So you can put it on your calendar and expect to hear from me on Tuesday afternoon. Does that work for you? And then fulfill on your commitment. Remember this with regard to customer service. The qualities of reliability, dependability, honesty are what they're looking for. So practice these qualities. Reliability, dependability, and honesty. Is there anything more basic to that than in providing excellent customer service? Think about the clients that really appreciate what you do. Why do they appreciate you? Why do they appreciate your approach to this business? Why are they choosing to work with you? Have you displayed these characteristics to them, these qualities? Reliability, dependability, honesty. What else? What else do they need? So if we know that that's what really kind of makes the difference between us and the rest of the community, let's focus on delivering that at a higher level. Next point. Treat every person as you would like to be treated to enhance your customer service. That's an easy one, right? We've all heard that, the golden rule. Treat every person the way you want to be treated. Did you guys ever hear of the platinum rule though? That's one notch above the golden rule. Treat everybody the way they want to be treated, not the way you want to be treated. Have enough empathy, enough sensitivity, a high level of customer service, enough that you can, with humility, treat them the way they want to be treated. That's how you develop a client for life. Remember, customer service is a method of developing business. It's a method of prospecting. It's a method of lead generation, customer service, because it develops business now and in the future. It is your residual income. Bill is at a little bit of a point, a little turning point. It's a pressure point in the transaction. This is an opportunity to really elevate your customer service. And then when you ask them, hey, who do you know that needs this level of assistance and representation with regard to real estate? That's when they share with you. Now and in the future, they remember stuff like this. Next point, customer service. Remember, your customers are your biggest asset. Treat them with respect. Sounds simple to this group. Treat people with respect, right? Until you realize that other agents out there don't do that. It is crazy. So I remember once, years ago, one of my listings expired. So I put my phone number. This was back in the day. I don't think people do this anymore, but we used to be like, we used to put the client's phone number in the notes when they wanted to show a property. So, you would call up the client, set an appointment, and go show the property. It's how kind of we did it 10, 15, 18 years ago, whatever, 20 years ago. Call Mr. Seller and set the appointment. And then the agent would call them directly. So when the property expired, I actually put my phone number in there, my cell phone number. And I was fielding calls from all the agents that were making their expired listing calls. So I could just hear what they're saying. They were not treating anybody with respect. They were talking down to the customer. They were throwing the previous agent under the bus. They showed up with their big egos. The agent's like, saying, "Oh, I think I'm going to keep my current agent." Why would you do that? You didn't sell it for you before. What are you thinking? Don't you think you need to make a better decision than that? It's like, oh my God, like, wow, this guy, I mean, the skill set was so low that it really taught me a lot about what my competition looks like out there. It was insane. You want to hear a simple customer service point? Be sure to say thank you to your customers often. It emphasizes their value to you. Simple act of saying thank you. I appreciate that. You're so kind. You're so sweet. Thank you for doing that. Having customers like you is why I really enjoy being in business. I really appreciate you. Humility can be a wonderful ingredient to providing excellent levels of customer service. Next way to provide great customer service to your clients, remove the drama of a transaction by having solutions to common problems before they come up. Remove the drama from transactions by letting them know what's coming down the pipe before it comes up. Going back to Phil's original point on the call, the appraisal came in low. We don't actually do this, Phil. I think we should start doing this, though. At least on our team, I think we should. And you guys can make. What if we were to say to buyers, congratulations, you're in escrow. I'm super stoked. Let me tell you what's going to happen next. There's an appraiser that's going to come out to check out the property and give their own valuation. Most of the time, appraisals come in right at value. They rarely come in above value, and sometimes they come in below value, right? But anyway, the point is that we can future pace it a little bit, right? And that does like there's some drama in the transaction now, Phil, right? There's a little bit of drama going on. This could be a really cool opportunity to implement a new aspect to your system and how you manage working with buyers. Hey, I want to let you know if appraisal comes in low, that actually could be a good thing. It opens up the opportunity to negotiate the price down a little bit. Now, sellers don't always go for it, so in those cases, as long as you can afford it, we usually close the deal anyway. But if it does come in low, let's see if we can get a few bucks off, right? Main thing is it's no reason to panic, right? And this way, if you're future pacing them or whatever script you decide to use, at least it just kind of eliminates some of the drama because it's not the first time they're hearing about it. Next point on customer service, encourage your clients to tell you what they like and what they don't like, because it creates an opportunity for you to improve. Now, anytime I don't get a listing, I always want to find out why. I'd like to improve. Please help me understand why you decided not to list your property with me. That's the only time I ever asked that, but I'm beginning to think, just based on this point, we should be doing that with all clients. A successful listing that gets sold, a successful buyer that you get into under contracting and close the deal. hey, I want to just do a quick audit of our experience together. Would you mind sharing with me what you liked and what you didn't like? Because I really want to improve. I always want to improve my level of customer service. Sorry. So encourage them to let you know what they liked, what they didn't like. Next point. When listing a home for sale, tell clients exactly what steps you're going to go through. Give them a copy of your plan of action. Ask them to check off each step as you accomplish it. And do the same thing for a buyer. Now, you might not have a plan of action. You might consider creating one, though, where you're future pacing the entire transaction for them. Boy, is that a great level of customer service. We do transactions all the time, right? We're all in this business. But think about our clients. They don't do this a lot. It's really it's a scary thing. Sometimes it's their first time buying a home or their first time selling a property. And if they're like if they've done it a ton, maybe it's their eighth time, right? They've done it a lot. No, we military, I've bought and sold 8 times before. Like I do this all the time. Still only 8 times. Where you guys have done it, 10 or 20 or 30 or 50 times more than that. I mean, depending on how long you've been in business. So what a great way to, again, establish some customer service. Tell them what to expect before it happens. That is so comforting. So comforting. So something to consider. And the last point for customer service is this. In talking to your clients every 7 to 10 days, once a week, let's just say, let them know what they need to know and let them know that you care and don't focus on the problems they have, just solve them. So in other words, weekly weekly participation with clients is key. We've already established that. To be great at customer service, weekly participation is key. And problems are going to come up. They always do. Sometimes they're little problems and sometimes they're a little bigger problems. But if we want to give high levels of customer service and we want to keep the drama and the emotion super low, just focus on solutions. That's why they're hiring you. Every transaction has problems. Every transaction has hurdles. And every transaction has bumps in the road. Sometimes there are massive potholes, and sometimes it's just a little speed bump.
Can you
You
pause
want
there
to,
for a second, Aaron?
yeah, go for it.
Yeah, I think yeah, focusing on solutions. So from my observations, right, that's something you've obviously mastered. Would be obvious for me. But yeah, focusing on solutions, not getting caught in drama. I think so many people do get caught up in the drama. And I think that's a little bit underrated skill is to be able to focus on a solution and not get caught up in the maelstrom of drama.
Think about how exhausting drama is. I mean, it really
It's
is
exhausting.
exhausting.
It is. Yeah. Mhm.
They don't have people generally, none of us have the capacity to just deal with drama for hours and days at a time. It's exhausting.
Yes.
So we should now this is interesting. Some agents almost create drama in the transaction because they feel guilty for the amount of money they're earning on this singular transaction. They're earning 20,000 or 40,000 or $85,000 for a transaction, depending on the price point. There are agents that create drama so they can almost in their own mind feel like they're important, like they matter. That just makes it an awful experience for the client, though. I want every transaction to be drama free, where we don't have to deal with all the ups and downs, where we make it look easy, and where we get paid a bunch of money because we made it look easy. It's almost like when somebody says, do I get a discount if you, sell it in just a few days and it closes, 15 days later, 15 days later? It's like, would you rather it takes, 9 months? I don't think so, right? We get paid based on our performance in a situation, on how skillfully and efficiently we can manage the process from A to Z, from open to close, from start to finish. Perfect transaction is one with little to zero drama. We're going through a deal right now. We should be closing in the next day or two. There was drama with it between the buyer and the seller and the loan, and the loan it was a mess. But we made sure that we were always kind of results oriented, uh, problem solvers. And it gave the buyer such peace to understand that, okay, we can count on him. He'll take us through the process. So in those weekly conversations, really, have an awareness of what the issues and the problems are, and then just be like laser focused on being a problem solver for people. That's why they're paying you. We're here to solve problems for people. Super comforting to know that you have an agent that's in your corner like that. Let's open the mics. Anybody have any issues or questions that they're dealing with that we can address as a group, whether it's with regard to customer service or any other aspect of the business? Cool. Good stuff. All right, guys. We'll keep up the good work. Let me know if you need anything in the meantime. Otherwise, I'll see you here next week. Have a great week, and raise your level of customer service starting today with everybody you talk to. They will appreciate it and they'll notice it. Take care, guys. Be well.
Thanks, sir.